Hey everyone.
Hey bag ladies and bag dudes, I'm Sarah Lawson from So Sweetness. Thanks so much for joining us for Ask Sarah, my weekly Q&A chat.
The start of the show, I'll tell you right now, it was just messed up. I got mad for about 2 seconds, maybe 3. I explained, I'm so used to it with Violet. I explained to William exactly what was going to happen. I'm like, 10 seconds, get ready, press the button. And it's 10 seconds, like, do I go now? And I'm at 7 seconds. I'm like, you press OK. You press start, then OK. He pressed start, never hit OK. And he's just sitting there staring at it. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Violet is usually here, and she usually does the start of our Tuesday show, and she's not home. She's at my grandma's house, so William had to help out for the first time, and I don't know if he got distracted. I'm not sure what happened.
Yeah, I don't know either. I gave him a good rundown. I don't know.
So thanks everyone for joining us on this Tuesday evening. I see Deborah from North Carolina, Penny from New York. So thanks so much for joining us. So I'm going to be talking about a few things, and then we'll answer some questions live. We'll answer as many as we can. So first, I wanted to let you know that Web Sarah, my web developer, that's what I call her, Web Sarah, she has set up notifications on the website for items that are out of stock. So if something's out of stock on the website, if you'd like to, you can enter your email address to be notified when that particular item comes back in stock. So for acrylic templates or any fabrics, anything that's out of stock, if you want to be notified, and then I send out an automated email when I relist those items as in stock, and then you can purchase it if you choose. The automated email will have a link for that item. So I'm not sure why we didn't implement that sooner, but we've had a lot of requests for that, particularly this week. So and it works. I tested it out. Everything should be going fine with that. Bronwyn said boys and men can't deal with more than one instruction in the same sentence. Is that true?
No, I follow instructions well, son. I don't get that. He was too worried about getting upstairs and missing his friends playing Fortnite.
Yeah, it's okay. He's fine.
Yeah,
he did
fine,
okay.
Yeah.
It was his first time. So I decided.
I'm docking his pay though.
I decided tonight that I was going to start cutting out fabric for this tutor bag. We need to start working on our next 4-pack video bundle because we promised that would be in August, and August is next week. So we're shooting for the end of August for that because we haven't shot any of the videos. We haven't filmed any of the videos yet, but we're going to try to get on that. And the tutor bag was sort of a pattern that I designed as a choose your own adventure bag. So there's a lot of features on this bag, and you can either add or omit features depending on what you'd like to see. And it's really easy in the pattern. Each section has actually a little checkbox. So for example, front zipper pocket. There's a little box. If you want to add it, you'll follow those instructions. And if you don't, then you just skip them. So there's front handles as well as a side strap. There is a recessed zipper closure on the top of the bag. You can also choose a magnetic snap closure instead, and either of those are in the instructions for the bag. There's also optional purse feet. If you've never installed purse feet before, they're really easy to do. Purse feet are really cheap as well. So there's a lot of features of this bag. I know it's a classic tote style bag, but the front of the bag is really easy to showcase a large scale print. So I'm going to be cutting that fabric out hopefully tonight or in the morning. Bronwyn sent me some lovely gray wool fabric, and I thought to use the gray wool for the body of the bag, and we just got some new faux leathers in the shop, and I thought maybe the black would look nice with the gray. So something a little bit different than I normally use for fabrics. As you can see, I normally like super bright colors, but I'm going to try to go with a neutral because I think it would be interesting to see this bag as a gender neutral style as opposed to like pink, as I've used on this particular sample. Pat says, what bags will be in the next 4 packs? So it's the tutor bag, which I just showed, the Lilium laptop bag, Camp Stitch a Lot, and I always forget what the 4th one is. Do you remember?
Nope, we'll keep it a mystery, so you have to stay tuned.
Okay, it'll come to me, or I'm sure somebody's going to remember in the comments, because we've said it before, and I always remember the first 3, and I always forget the 4th one. What fabrics did you use on that tutor bag? Cork and tulip pink. It's actually a Moda Grunge fabric. I'll lift it up a little bit so you can see it. This is a Moda Grunge, which I got a few years ago, but they came out with new colors, so they have tons of colors. It's more like a solid looking quilting cotton with like scrapes of like a lighter color. Is that what you would call it? Scrapes? Like there's texture to this
It's almost
fabric?
like when you have jeans that are worn and the top layer comes off and you see like those different like stringy.
And the main fabric is Tulip Pink Elizabeth, which came out a few years ago, and it features Queen Elizabeth. And I just felt like the head and the headdress fit really perfectly on the front of the bag. I'm not sure if you can still find Tulip Pink Elizabeth online or in quilt shops, but you might be able to. I haven't looked lately as far as out of print Tulip Pink fabrics, at least.
I like to throw those comments in right as they're fresh, so they don't have to sit in the back burner. And
oh yeah, good call on that one. All right, so Danny's favorite part of the show, if you'll let us know in the comments. If you're a bag lady or a bag dude, just go ahead and type that out and hit enter. We really like asking for our bag lady and bag dude call out. It's really fun, and we feel like there's a great bag making community that's really supportive, and also we have the fun continuing on in our Facebook group. So if you're not already a member of the Facebook group, we hope you'll join us there. Lots of questions, lots of completed photos of So Sweetness bags are being posted in there. We'll show you a few of those completed bag photos later. So thanks so much for letting us know. So actually next on my outline is Danny's pick. So Danny every Tuesday goes in the Facebook group and chooses a photo and his pick of the week, and we have something special for you tonight. So I'll let you talk about that.
Well, I saw so many people since Bronwyn started the movement, Bags in the Wild, and a lot of people have been posting those pictures, and they've been great pictures, and really love seeing those. So to encourage more of those posts, we're going to take, well, at least I will, every picture I see of the wild for the week, which I could find, I'm going to put in a little slide, which we'll show next, and we'll feature your picture.
What does Bags in the Wild mean exactly?
So it doesn't have to necessarily be out in the street. I mean, if you just picture yourself in your bag, maybe you're out at the store, you could be out in your yard, you could be walking your dog, you could be on vacation in China. I mean, it could be anywhere, and it's just you picture you and your bag actually being used, you know? All right, let's go cue the picture. Up first, we have Brandy. That looks like a Baker Street bag to me. Sarah?
Yep, Baker Street bag.
Okay, next.
I remember seeing this in the group, so I know it is.
We have Bronwyn and her daughter, I believe, and that looks like,
the hyacinth bag. Come on, we gotta be quick before the next
well, I got
picture
10
comes
seconds. Cumberland from Jerry, right?
Yep. That looks like the size small, I believe.
And
based
denim
on the
looks
size.
pretty cool.
Yeah, and I like those pins on
Great finish on that
the
one.
front of it too.
And then we have Jessica, who has a really cool Renegade bag, I believe.
Yep, and that's green fennel cork on the handles and the accents.
And we have Karen, and Karen also has a Cumberland backpack, I believe. And next will be Kyla. So I'm saying that right? What is Satellite?
Yep, that's Kyla. They went to the movies in this picture.
And an Oreo bag, I believe.
Yep.
Two for one. Great picture. Awesome. That's a great in the wild shot. And then we have Kim, who has another Satellite bag. Great shot. I love the background. Stonehenge, I believe in Scotland, is it? And next, Manu, who made a tortoise bag, I believe, for the front of her bike.
That's a really cool idea. I love that idea.
Very creative. I see electric bikes too. Very cool. I love this one too. Margarita made an awesome sublime bag. Yep. Great picture.
I like the metal zippers on the front too.
Great finish in that one. Then we have Maria, and it's hard to sort of tell, but I believe it's a cotton candy. No, is that a cotton candy?
The
Bellevue, yeah.
With she added the side strap on it too.
Yep. And Maureen, I believe this is her daughter. It's gonna be a Jet Set cinch.
I love the look on her face too. She looks really excited.
Yeah, for sure. And Melissa made a great salad bag. She has also an awesome Oreo bag, which it's hard to forget. It's a really great looking one. And we have Michelle out on the beach. And her bag, I believe, is also
it's from
sublime.
Windy City Bags.
Oh, is it Windy City?
Yep.
Okay. I could be wrong. Now, that's too many bags for me to guess, but that's Pat. And I see a salad bag in the front. Now, the rest, I'm lost. Sarah, you have to help me on that one. And Sheila also has a salad bag. Really great salad bag. Love the colors in that, the fabric. Awesome job to everyone. Back to our front.
Yeah, so thanks so much for sharing your bags in the wild. And as I mentioned, Danny took all these photos from the Facebook group. So we love seeing finished bags in the Facebook group. So we hope you'll join us there. And if you're already a member, don't be shy. go ahead and post your finished photos when you finished your bag.
Someone have a funny comment. Diane.
I think I will take my pics out by my chickens and ducks, and then it will really be out in the wild. That's awesome. I would love to see that picture.
Very cool.
All right, so if you enjoy our live videos, if you enjoy the bag making and tutorial videos that we've posted, we hope you'll humor us. And if you're watching on Facebook, if you'll share this sewing video with your other sewing friends on Facebook. At the very least, regardless if you're watching on YouTube or Facebook, if you'll at least hit the like button, which is a little thumbs up picture. And likes and shares really help us out so much because Facebook and YouTube see videos with lots of likes and shares, and they consider sharing those videos with other people that have not seen them before but might be interested in them. Like if, for example, if YouTube sees that someone's watching a lot of sewing related videos but they haven't seen ours yet, if our videos are getting a lot of likes and shares, YouTube will suggest our videos to them as something that they might be interested in. So thanks so much for doing that. It really
appreciate it.
Yeah, it helps us out a lot. So thank you so much. Montana Wendy says, what needle size do you recommend to use with your glitter vinyl? So I use either Oregon 9014 needles or Schmetz Microtex needles. And I use that for pretty much every project that I make. So glitter vinyl, cork fabric, if I'm making a bag with quilting cotton, I use the same needles for just about everything. Karen says, Sarah, I would like to make bags for my sons. They're both Air Force. I have the fabric, but which bag to make? So what do you think as a guy?
Probably a larger one, maybe like a coalition bag or something you could put a crossbody strap and carry like a messenger bag almost.
Maybe the emblem duffel bag.
Yeah, definitely. Something you can crossbody, put a big strap on it, throw it over your shoulder and carry it like a messenger style.
And I don't know why this is popping into my head, but I do recall, it's probably been a year, but someone made, I believe it was the Minikin Sidewinder, so small pouches, but with firefighter uniforms. Do you remember seeing those? Someone made a whole bunch of them, and they were really cool. So that one, for some reason, always sticks in my mind as something really cool and interesting to do with uniforms. Is there any difference between by Annie Soft and Stable and Pollen Flex foam interfacings, and do you have any preference? For example, for cotton candy pouch, which I'm gathering my supplies for. So there's several companies that make foam interfacings. By Annie Soft and Stable is one of them. That's a sew-in only foam interfacing. Pollen makes several foam interfacings, and they're all called flex foam, but they have a sew-in, a one-sided fusible, and a two-sided fusible, and a company called Bosel also has the same three choices, and theirs is called Interform, but again, it's sew-in, one-sided fusible, two-sided fusible. I always use by Annie Soft and Stable. I like using sew-in foam interfacings. Pollen Flex Foam is a little bit thicker, still as easy to sew, and I feel like out of the three, the Bosel Interform is the most dense, and that doesn't mean it's the thickest. It just feels like the foam is more dense in that particular product, but I like using the by Annie Soft and Stable. I should also mention that everyone has their own preference, so just because I like Soft and Stable doesn't mean that's the right one. That's just what I like the best. So everyone seems to have their own preference, and it seems to be spread out across the board. Lauren says, I did a shout out to you in your live shows in my group, and hopefully it brings a few more viewers to the show. Thank you so much. Yeah, it really, really helps us out a lot, and we always hope to bring new people into the audience because there's always very smart questions asked, and it's just nice. And I also like seeing the conversations that go on in the chat on Facebook and YouTube. So it's really nice to have more people in the community for sure. You know,
someone said, I just saw it now, I'm having a hard time hearing you. And the funny part is, because we have the mic adjusted up. Sarah, would you mind adjusting that down?
Oh, who did that?
I think it was William.
Uh-huh.
It's been a wild week, Oh, there you go. You can go lower, Sarah.
Okay.
Now you got the cable. You got to pull over there.
Sorry about that. Not on your game today.
Well, we sort of rushed last minute. We had dinner, and yeah, let's just go on the next question.
Sorry about that.
I see nothing here. Hopefully you guys can hear now.
I wonder how quiet it was.
Well, you could still pick it up, but it doesn't sound great. Well, hopefully it sounds better.
Now that we asked them to share the videos with their sewing friends, and our sound is weak.
Especially at the start too. It's a great video to start by sharing it. What's going on over there?
Michelle says, the pic I took of some of my Sew Sweetness bags on a deck of a KOA cabin back in Beginning of June was really in the wild there. My husband thought I was nuts taking a picture of my bags before I even took a family picture. That's really funny.
I laughed when I read that.
That is really funny.
That is awesome.
Priorities, right?
Yeah, right.
Okay, I see Mirta has a question that's coming through. I know you said something before, but I forget or I'm too anxious. When does the next bundle come out? We're shooting for August, so it'll likely be end of August since we haven't filmed those 4 videos yet, so we got to get on that.
Wow, this start of this video is going to sound so... Well, the first 15 minutes could sound terrible. We're going to put a comment, and I'm going to cry about it later. So, let's see.
I think you were in a hurry, because I saw you screw the mic in, and I assumed you finished
No,
the
it
job,
was out of position for the other cell phone.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Karen says, I'm going to try to make another binary pouch this week. Can I use fusible fleece? You sure can. You can use fusible fleece on a lot of projects, especially small projects like pouches. Fusible fleece or batting is completely fine. The structure won't be exactly the same, but I feel like it matters less in a smaller project than it does in a bigger bag.
Someone mentioned about having waves on their finish, and I'm assuming it's going to be like iron-on interface, and I was trying to find it. I want to buy it look pretty quick.
Okay.
Can you talk about having, like, when they finish a product?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So sometimes with fusible foam, oh, you found the question. Okay. When I make a bag and use fusible and use foam interfacing, I have wrinkles. Any ideas? So,
is it sewn in or is it
if
fusible?
you saw my video this past Sunday, I showed my first ever bag, and I showed fusible Paltex, and I explained what happened, and I showed it had sort of dimples and wrinkles on it. So, the issue with fusible interfacings, foam or Paltex, is often when you're making a bag, you have to pull everything out when you're finished right side out through an opening in the lining. That's the case for, I don't know, maybe 90% of bags. So while you're doing that in that process, because you're pulling the bag through such a small opening, usually it's a small opening, sometimes areas of the fabric come unattached from the interfacing, and it's really hard or impossible to reattach fabric after you've sort of it's been reattached from small areas. And that doesn't mean your whole entire piece of fabric is coming off of the interfacing. It just means that small areas are coming unattached, and ironing it over and over doesn't fix that. So when I mentioned earlier I like the sew-in foams, that's probably the main reason why. So unfortunately, that's usually how the finished project will look. But if you're not into that, or you've used a fusible foam, you might consider using a sew-in foam for the next project. So if that's what was happening, hopefully that answered the question. Kim says, can we make a suggestion of who deserves the Light Award for this month?
I didn't know we were giving out a Light Award this month.
We actually need to probably...
It's going to be a while because Ed needs to reset up shop when he moves, and we're going to make these personalized. So he's going to have to make another one. We're going to do little tweaks to it, and then we're going to have your name on it and, saying for being awesome.
Kim's talking about these awards we were planning on giving for...
Oh, right there. You can show it.
Oh.
I love showing this every week because I think it's so freaking cool. And now I put the batteries in it. It's complete. You can actually have this plugged in or use batteries. And you just press the button. You can put it to the front. Change colors.
Ed and Robin, who make our templates, are moving to a different state,
and looks better when you hold it like this.
Okay. Ed and Robin are
I can put it over here.
Ed and Robin are moving, so we need some time to let them move and get settled in their new house. So they're going to be making these trophies. We're going to give them out to people who are outstanding in the Facebook group. So either they go out of their way to help other people by answering questions, being helpful and supportive. They make awesome things. So I think maybe we'll start that in September, because then
we'll have enough to get inventory.
They should be moved in, and we'll have time to get those templates in the mail.
Diana wanted to know, can you share the lights and mics that we use? We use 2 ring lights. I think they're 18-inch LED ring lights. We have one on the front, and we have a side one. We also have an LED panel light on our ceiling. The brands, I don't remember the brands off the top of my head, to be honest. They're the Amazon recommended
the
brands.
ring lights are from Amazon, and they're like, this big, and it's just a ring of light.
18 inches.
Yeah.
18-inch ring light, 2 of them.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
Why are you laughing when I
Because I just said it's an 18-inch ring light.
Okay.
So if you Google it, you'll see the 18-inch ring light. Now, these are a couple years old, so they may have a new version, different model. And for the mics, we just switched recently. It's with the wireless. It's a boom mic from Audio Technica. I think it's an AT817 is the model number. Sara also uses a lapel mic when I'm not at the show, and that is an Audio Technica something too. I can't tell you the brand because I'm not sure. That's the brand. The model is what I'm not sure on. Okay.
I'm surprised you remembered that model number of the mic.
I have an amazing memory of stuff I care about.
Like I called Danny last week. I got a new Kindle, and he wasn't home when the Kindle came, and I wanted to set it up, and they needed the Wi-Fi password, and I called him. I don't know how many digits it was, but it seemed like it was over 10 digits, and he knew it by heart, so I thought that was pretty cool, too. Brett says, do you know if the organ needles or the Microtex ones universal to all machines or just to the Juki? So I believe they should be universal as long as you're screwing your needles into your machine. We use them at our sewing retreats, and I give them out in goodie bags, so as far as I'm aware, they can be used in all machines. Yeah, I see a comment too.
It's already on the screen.
No, I was looking at the comment from Adrian. She says the organ needles work for all machines. Okay. Michelle says, teasing us with it, my husband saw my comment about putting the purse lights on our dining room table and getting rid of the necessities and was like, okay, because you don't have enough other places to put it. That's really funny.
Yeah.
Well, the photos looking good is kind of important, you know?
Right, for sure.
Makes the project look a lot different with lighting or either natural light outside.
We got a nomination.
Many Beautiful Things says, I nominate Michelle Graham. She's so helpful and awesome. Michelle is super awesome.
Very helpful. Very awesome.
Probably one of the nicest people. I mean, I have not met Michelle in person, but one of the nicest people that I have not met in real life.
Extremely helpful.
Yeah. Maria says, I made a couple of double zip filigree bags with batting and didn't like the end result because it was a bit flimsy for me. I liked the foam much better and have made several with that. The end result is more professional for me, but it all depends on your personal preference. It's true. A lot of cases for interfacing are based on personal preference. I get emails sometimes from people that are nervous about sewing with the foam, or they're a little frightened of using it, and it's really easy to sew with. As the foam goes underneath your presser foot, it really does compress because it's foam, and I don't know, it's just really nice. Once I discovered foam, I didn't want to go back to using other things for sure. Another comment from Diane, the organ and Microtex are universal.
Lauren want to know, are we on a phone or camera? We have a Panasonic GH5 camera for our front view. We also have a pan tilt zoom camera when we do the other show for the overhead and the top down camera view.
Yeah, for our full length bag videos, we use that tilting camera for the overhead shots and also the sewing machine shots.
True.
Yes.
Someone said Brett had a good question, so I'm trying to go through.
Who had a question?
Brett. Yeah, it was about the needles.
Oh yeah, you already put that one up on the screen.
They're commenting. Okay.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, Mirta says, I can't find the hinged foot anywhere. Could you tell us where you got it at? I bought it from Sovac Direct. I think I just searched for hinged zipper foot, or maybe 1/8 of an inch hinged zipper foot. If you want to email me, I can send you the link. I'd have to double check on it, but I did buy it from Sovac Direct. Penny says, I want to figure out how to personalize my bags with a label or tag. Any suggestions? Can you consider a tutorial? Yes, I do have that on my list for tutorial. One of the viewers, Erin, actually emailed me a link where she gets her bag tags made, and they're personalized with her logo. So I'm just waiting. I'm going to order some just so I can check the quality, and then as soon as I get those, I'll show them on one of the live shows, probably one of the Sunday shows, and then I'll link to it. So I just want to check it out first and make sure that what I'm recommending is good, and that the company comes through and I actually get the products in the mail. Not that I'm worried about that, but you never know. Would a 16 100 needle work, size needle work for cork fabric? I've not personally used that, so I can't 100% say on that particular needle size. I don't know. I've just always used the 9014, probably because they work for an assortment of projects besides just bags. Kim says, what company did you get the grid interfacing from that you showed on the Sunday Night Live? So this past Sunday I showed how to fussy cut a flap. So if you wanted like a fold over flap, the design on the flap to continue on the body of the bag, I used a product called Pellon True Grid. And the True Grid was sort of not exactly an interfacing, but you could slightly see through it, which is why it was helpful for the fussy cutting demonstration that I did. And each of the little blue squares on the Pellon True Grid measures 1 inch, so it's really helpful. I use it also for saving pattern pieces because say if I need like a 6 inch by 8 inch rectangle, I just count out my squares and it's really quick to cut those out. Melissa says, thanks for posting the embroidery file for the logo. It worked out great. So thank you. Elaine emailed me. She digitized my logo, so I posted that in the Facebook group. Some people were saying it was for specific machines. I'm going to ask her if she has a file.
She was going to make another file, she said.
Oh, she
I
did?
approved it last night, yeah.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah, she had a couple more files she sent out, and it might have been done already. It was late.
Okay.
But I definitely approved 2 files, and I think she mentioned she was going to do another one. So.
Awesome. Thank you. Kyla says, can you explain what the numbers on the needles mean? I saw a great chart in recent years with a image of what the needle looks like and what type of needle and the number. So I'm going to try to pull that up and I'll post it in the Facebook group and maybe we could show it on one of the live shows. Needle number. I'm writing myself a note so I don't forget. Hope says, do you have a small pattern that you could suggest for a couple of cards, a phone, and some money to carry to the beach or on vacation? I don't believe I currently have one, but I've written one for the next set of minikins that are coming out in October, so that particular pattern will be in there. It's just for like absolute minimums, like you mentioned in your comments. So I think it'll be, I'm pretty excited about that one because I don't do a lot of small purse patterns, and that one's probably the smallest one I've ever done. Sorry.
It's one of them shows.
Lauren says, do you have any tips on how to sew a zipper around a corner for a zip around wallet? I keep catching the teeth when I sew the lining in. So sometimes it depends on the type of zipper too. If you're using a handbag zipper with a wider tape, I always find those easier to sew with. You can always use a ton of wonder clips to hold the tape down, and also a stiletto. Let me grab it over here.
Or I call it a multi-purpose tool.
So I use the precision turning tool, which we sell in the shop. So this is helpful for poking out corners so that you don't tear through your seam because it has like a rounded metal ball. And this is a single piece of metal, but the other great use for this tool is as a stiletto. So while you're sewing through the curve, especially with a zipper, you just take this end with the ball and kind of hold the comments in the way in the screen, but if you just kind of hold the edge as you sew, and it kind of works as like a sixth finger, so it kind of holds your edges down. I was previously a big fan of just going through and trying to hold everything down the best that I could, but this actually works a lot better and certainly less strain on your fingers.
I didn't know you can actually use that until I saw someone else in a video using that as one of the techniques, and I said, Sarah, do you know you could use that to press the when you're sewing something really close, you don't want to press your fingers so close to that section. She's like, yeah, I knew that. I'm like, well, I've never seen
I didn't think of it with this tool until I taught at a retreat in Madison, Wisconsin, and Trina Peterson, that was her name, she was using this as a stiletto, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about using that for that purpose, but I tried it and it works great. Pat says, how's the horseback riding going? It's going great. I had a lesson today because I always have a lesson on Tuesdays. Violet usually comes with me, and actually we had surprise visitors because my father, my brother, my sister-in-law, and my niece, they're visiting from Colorado, the 3 of them, and they showed up after the lesson started, so that was a nice surprise, and it's going a lot better. The more I do it, as with anything, the more you do something, and it's the same case with sewing, the more you do it, the better you get and the more confident you feel, and sometimes confidence is part of it too. I just feel more relaxed and worrying less about little things because I'm just feeling better about just the basics, if you want to call it that. Sherry says, can you make an SVG file of your logo available also for use in the Cricut? Oh, I didn't even think about that. I think I can in Adobe Illustrator. Let me write that down so I remember to do that. Sure, I will investigate that. I think it's going to be pretty easy. Estelle says, do you have a tutorial on ironing your finished bag and how would I find it? I have not done a tutorial for that yet, but it is on my list because I feel like pressing the finished bag is super important, and I see a lot of photos where you can definitely see if somebody's pressed the bag or the pouch when they finished it and when they haven't, and pressing is really important. I know we're all in a rush when the bag's finished. We want to take pictures, or we're just so over the work of sewing the bag that we just want to get out and use it. But pressing it really makes a huge difference, and there's certain ways to press it even if you're using vinyl or cork fabric. So you don't not necessarily want to use the iron, but there's ways to press those projects as well. So that's on my list for a future social
That list
Sunday.
is getting really long. Wow.
It is, but everyone has such good suggestions, don't you think?
Absolutely.
Lauren says, you say stiletto, I think shoes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, stiletto is basically anything with a pointy tip that you can use for... yeah, Glum says, don't use your shoes, please. Yeah, for sure. And there's several different stiletto type devices out there. There's even one made of plastic and it's purple. It's called the Purple Thing. And that's another stiletto that I've seen out there. Do you have a tutorial on sliders and rectangles for straps? I don't think we've done one specifically on that. I'll add that to my list. We've definitely demonstrated it in some of our videos, like some of our for sale videos. I don't think we've done it in any of the free ones, though. Gina says, don't take that turning tool in your carry-on. Mine got confiscated. Why would this get confiscated? Can you think of why?
I don't know why they would confiscate that.
Danny used to work for TSA a few years ago. I wonder why.
I would not take that away. I don't think it's
not even sharp anywhere.
There's a rule about certain tools over a certain amount of inches, but that's not a tool that you would is like a.
But
a
I have seen stilettos that had like a very pointy tip. So would that be?
It's gotta have a sharpened edge, like scissors. They measure from the fulcrum out. I think it's 4 inches. So anything larger than that, it's not allowable. But that is not a sharp edge of any sort. So I can't.
That's interesting. That must have been frustrated having your sewing tools taken away. Mirta says, thank you for the great read book on the Great Alone. I just got it and I am loving it. Thank you. Yeah, I think I talked about the Great Alone. I don't even remember when. It's a great book. I think Kristen Hanna was the author, and it's about homesteading in Alaska. It was really, really a gripping read, I think.
You know, someone said, it's actually multiple have said this. You could try using wooden skewers.
Oh, yeah, that's good. Oh, okay. Juanita says, use wooden skewers for stiletto. If your needle hits it, your machine won't suffer so much. That's a good point, because this is for sure metal.
Look front.
Christine says, in Illustrator, you can save files.
Sarah.
You can save files as SVG. I do it all the time for Cricut files. Yeah, that's what I thought. I thought Illustrator had a setting where you could just easily change the file name for an SVG. So I'll definitely, it's on my list.
As Jana says, over 7 inches long can be used as a weapon.
Wow, that's crazy.
I would ask to talk to a supervisor. If they give you a problem, you ask for a manager.
That sounds kind of subjective. Like they're just deciding.
Well, it's because it's called a tool. If you say that's a tool, then they measure the said tool, but you could say that's used for something else. It's not a tool. Say it's a part for something, then it's not a tool. And if that could be used as a part for something else, say it's a metal, I don't know, pencil or pen, or you can multiple uses.
Somebody at TSA was having a bad day.
No, you can. Right? I mean, some people. There's a lot of gray area, and you could read the rule stated, any tool above 7 inches, and they're gonna say if that's a tool, it's above 7 inches, you can't take it, or you can't bring it on the airplane. I see what you're saying. So it's really how it's interpreted. And if you have a problem or question, always talk to a supervisor. The supervisor doesn't like it, you can talk to the manager, explain to them what it is.
Interesting.
Yeah, there's multiple levels, and you can always go to the manager. And yeah,
I feel like you do that a lot too when you call customer service for anything, and the person you're talking to first is not able to help you. You always ask for what is it? Something tier.
Yep.
Second tier support.
It depends what you talk to. If you're doing like technical support, second tier support. If you're talking to someone like with a store, you can talk to the store manager, the general manager, the district manager. There's always levels to stuff, and just because one person says no, it's not that way. Let me talk to the person above you, and you'd be very surprised. There's a lot of different answers, and generally the lower tier do not have the answers that can, help you, or their tools aren't readily available to give you the answer you're looking for. So you have to, look elsewhere.
Interesting. Oh, I see someone's comment says, what is Illustrator? So Adobe makes several programs, and one's called Adobe Illustrator, and I use that program to draw out my pattern pieces. It's good for other things too. I know some people design fabric in there, but that's the main thing that I use it for, or to make graphics. Would like to see bags made with different linings next to each other, foam, cotton batting, thermal, interfacing wool, just to get an idea over video on the difference between the bags. Oh yeah, that's really interesting. I believe Annie from By Annie's did something like that before, where she made one of her patterns, a simple pattern in foam, batting, fusible fleece like you mentioned, and showed pictures of each, and you can definitely see the difference. So maybe I'll do something like that. I'm not sure which pattern. Maybe the cotton candy pouch would be good for that, just so you could see what the difference is.
It's Sarah's new set of patterns. She's got I don't know you want to call it even, but that said item does not have the foam interfacing used to the standard So Sweetness bag, and it's not using like any interfacing.
Yeah.
So it's more floppy, and you could see the difference
sure.
between it.
Charlie says, just went shopping at a local quilt store and they had a bunch of your patterns and hardware. I'm all set now. Got my first twist lock thingy. That's awesome. That's really cool when people show me pictures or let me know that my paper patterns, they found them at their local quilt shop. Another question about Soft and Stable. Do you have a recommendation for the most economical place to purchase the Annie's Soft and Stable? So that's a tough one. I admit I purchase my interfacings wholesale because I purchase other things wholesale as well because we sell things on the website. And I buy it by the roll. So I don't know, especially if you're making and selling bags, you might be able to apply for a wholesale account on suppliers' websites. Like Checker Distributors is a website that I deal with often. And they have wholesale pricing for quilt shops and other professionals. So that might be a consideration. I don't know what their policy is as far as wholesale accounts for people that make and sell bags or quilts, but that might be something to investigate as a possibility. Dawn says, a while back you had a book review on Coloring with Thread by Tulip Pink. Love it. Thank you. Oh, so happy you enjoyed that. On our Sunday shows, as often as possible, I try to review a book on the show, and that's what Dawn was talking about. Once in a while, I'll review a pattern in place of the show just because I don't necessarily have a new book every week or a new book to talk about. But I do have a really cool one for this Sunday. It's more of a reading book as opposed to a book with patterns, but I'll show you this Sunday on the Sunday Social Sunday show. Lauren says, I accidentally left my switchblade in my backpack when I moved from Hawaii to Utah and got pulled aside by TSA. I ended up mailing it to myself from the airport. Oh, that's a good idea. I didn't even know you could do that.
So long as you're on the non-secure side, if there's something that's not a prohibited item, you could always mail it to yourself if they do have like a mailbox available.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Elaine, that's Elaine that digitized my logo for embroidery. She says, the other embroidery files have been added to the files. For some reason, I was not able to add the VP3 file for the Viking machines, but I can email it to anyone that wants it. Thank you so much for doing that, Elaine. I really appreciate it, and I know everyone in the group appreciates it as well, at least people with embroidery machines. So thank you so much for doing that and going through that hard work to get that posted in the Facebook group. I see a question coming through from Pamela. I have been meaning to look up the price of Illustrator. I have a Cricut maker and would like to make use of it for cutting out patterns. So Adobe has the monthly subscription with several options.
A la carte, or if you're a student, you get a discount, or you get a whole package.
Yeah.
Check it out on Adobe's website. It does change. Sometimes I think they even offer sales.
Barbara says, where can we find the hardware? So it's been a year or two since we've done So Sweetness purse hardware. It just didn't work out with our setup at the time. I'm currently purchasing hardware from Emmeline Bags in Canada, and I really like their prices and selection. So that's emmelinebags.com. Brenda says, hey Sarah, do you know if and when Tula will be releasing a nautical animal theme? So her next fabric line is called Zuma, and it's sea creatures like seahorses, jellyfish.
It's coming out in fall, right?
There's shells. It's coming out in September. So I ordered it. Actually, when I ordered it in May, I ordered a conservative amount, and a couple nights ago I placed an even bigger order just to make sure we have enough fabric. So that'll be coming in September. It'll be up on the website, and we'll let you know on the live shows as soon as it comes in stock. Why are you laughing?
We have literally in our front room, there's about 9 boxes that are probably this wide by this tall stacked. Our house is only so big. I have no clue where all this stuff is going. We need to definitely
Well,
relocate.
we've been shipping the fabric, the tulip pink fabric, at least to my parents' house, and they're sort of a go-between, so they kind of hold the fabric until we need it to cut for kits, and then it comes here. So yeah, it gets shipped to my mom and dad's house. Marion says, thinking of making a small bag with a deer hide and cork on the bottom. Do you think the foam would still be necessary? Honestly, I don't know. That's not something I'm familiar with as far as thickness for the deer hide. Do you have any idea about?
Deer hide, at least I've seen gloves of deer hide. It's a very soft leather.
Is it thicker than the cork, do you think?
I don't know what the thickness of it is because it had insulation when I tried the gloves on. It was like a premium glove.
Sorry, I'm honestly not sure how to answer that because it probably depends on the thickness if the foam is necessary. It might not be, especially with cork fabric. It could go either way. With cork, I like the foam interfacing, but a lot of times it could be done without it as well. Jenna says, in one of your recent talks, you had mentioned possibly doing a quilt-along block of the month. Did anything become of that? So that'll be for sure 2019, probably at the beginning of the year if we do that. I am working on the next 4-pack video bundle as well as the next minikins, which will be 12 patterns and videos, and we're doing a baker's dozen this time, so an extra bonus video, the 13th pattern and video. So I probably need the rest of the year to get those taken care of, so the quilt along will for sure not be this year. Dawn says you will have to tent it in the backyard. That's really funny. Our yard is really small.
Our front yard's large, and the yard in the front yard is way bigger than our backyard, so we'll be just camping out with the neighbors out front, I guess.
Jennifer says deer hide is very pliable. It would be very slouchy without the foam. Oh, thank you so much for that comment, Jennifer. Yeah, I honestly didn't know.
Sherry's right on this one.
Sherry says you need to move to Tennessee before the new Tula release. Oh yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. We're hoping to have some sort of a work area.
Yep, definitely one of them.
Because our house is pretty much our work area right now. Elaine says you can download the Silhouette software for free and then pay a nominal fee for the upgrade to the business edition. Then you can save the files as SVG files for the Cricut machine. So thanks for Elaine for posting that. I know that'll be helpful to a lot of people.
I think we should wrap it right there because we still have to pick Violet up. She's not home.
Okay, yeah. But as we mentioned earlier, Violet is at my grandma's house, and so we got to go get her now. Thanks so much for watching Ask Sarah. We had a lot of fun. Great questions tonight. We'll see you again next Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. Have a great rest of the week and happy sewing.
See you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.